Hey there, welcome to My Green Pets. I'm William Green. Say hello to Hal, Bulbophyllum. His first bloom in at least 3 years. I could not be happier, more excited. So good to see you again, Hal, and smell you. Oh my God, what a fetid, rancid, noxious bouquet. And yet, it is truly a spectacular flower. I love it. Hal actually has something going on down here at the base of one of his bulbs. It could be another spike, or I would prefer that it's growing a new pseudobulb, a new leaf. But we'll see. Anyway, that's great. Bulbophyllum lepidum has got even more little spikes pushing, which is great. It's already pushed out 8. And it looks like it's got 3 or 4 more, so that's wonderful. If only they'd all push out at the same time. But still, very happy to see those. The Cycnoches, you can see, no water yet, but getting bigger. This Cooperi over here is looking huge. Fire Embers. This is Bronze Vixen. It's a little bit slower because it just bloomed back in January. It was still in bloom. And its roots, the growth is a little bit high, so the roots are going to have to reach a little bit to get down in there. I'm not too worried about it. Back here we've got Varsavicii. Oh my God, you can just tell that is going to be a monstrous growth. Just how thick that little nubbin is. How big already. It's going to be huge. Can't wait. Bloom on that thing was probably awardable. And unfortunately, it was in perfect condition and judging was canceled for it. So maybe we'll get another shot this year, or maybe we'll get female flowers on some of these guys this year. That would be great. That would be wonderful. The Cloesius. This is Rebecca Northern. We got 3 growths here, and no water for these guys yet either, but definitely rooting well. Bulbs seem to be in pretty good shape still. And let's see, what have we got? We've got Cloesia rosea over here, and then we've got Cloesia, I'm starting to say Cloesia because the guy's name was Close, Clowes. So his name was not Mr. Clois, it was Mr. Close. So it should be pronounced Cloesia, but anyway, semantics. 2 growths on Mikabi, plus a really nice big seed pod that I hope reaches maturity. 2 Rebecca Northerns crossed with each other. Super exciting. This Cattleya Rex. This is Nina and Unu. They've kind of grown together. I don't know which one is which at this point. We've got 3 sheaths. And once those get pushed out, we should start to see some buds at the bottom there. Maybe some flowers at the end of May. Maybe pushing into June at this point. So that's exciting. And then lots of growth on the Cattleya. We've got Cattleya Rex Mayu over here with tons of new growth. 4 of them it looks like. We've got Trione Cassions with 4 growths as well. Big ones starting to put out the tip of the leaf there. We've got Cattleya labiata Sherwood Forest by Libra. 2 growths. This one's quite far along. And then there's another one poking out the top here. And this plant is for sale if anyone wants it. $35 is what I'm asking, plus shipping. Beautiful Cattleya labiata, blooms in the fall. We've got Cattleya mossii, R.E. Patterson by Panther Creek. Probably not a pure mossii, but I saw photos of the flowers of one of the siblings of this cross, and I said, I think I'm keeping that. Hopefully it's going to be spectacular. We might get a sheath on that growth, but it won't bloom until next spring. We've got Cattleya dalwiana here. This is a Colombian variety, I believe. No, I think it's Costa Rican. Anyway, that's a nice big fat growth. Next to it, we've got Cattleya hardiana, also with a nice fat growth, and maybe we've got a growth coming on the second branching part of the plant as well too. So that growth does not look big enough to bloom at all, so I think we're still growing at this point. That's fine. We'd like to see blooms one of these days. Wrinkle Lily Aristocrat's working on its growth, kind of creeping up out of the pot here. Looking forward to that, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get 2 growths off this plant once this one completes, if we get another one later in the summer. We've got, this is a Cattleya labiata semi-alba with a nice little growth here. Again, I don't think it's going to be big enough to bloom, but we're getting closer. And then over here we've got what's left of my Cattleya maxima cerulea. And we're hoping to see some, maybe we'll get a bloom size growth on that division later as well. So lots of growth, lots of seedling activity here. This is King George. This is that cross of Triumphans by Dowiana. And you can see we got a new growth pushing there. Really vigorous plant. And excited to see that doing well. And then just some odds and ends here. We've got Ingracum Leonis here, just kind of minding his own business, doing his thing. And if we're lucky, we might get some blooms on Ingracum Leonis this winter in February or January. That would be great. Seems to be doing okay, growing out. This root's just going crazy. And as you can see, there is a tiny bit more space. I've shipped off something like 15 plants in the past week, and so there's a little bit more space in the tent, but it really doesn't look like anything's it's still pretty crowded in here. There's still 3 plants to, well, there's still a few plants to go. So this division of Hal, which by the way has got a nice growth pushing, and then my final division of Mormodia Jumbo World, as well as this Closia Silvio's Emerald. Those all 3 they're already sold and they're just waiting to ship. And then, like I mentioned earlier, this nice big beautiful Cattleya labiata needs a new home. And I think there was one more plant. Yeah, this Bulbophyllum catenulatum doesn't look great. It hates to be repotted, and I just repotted it about a month ago. So it's kind of going through a readjustment period. But someone contacted me the other day interested in this. It's only $15. I feel like, well, it's fair price, even if it's not in the best shape. But I'm also happy to hold on to it and kind of nurse it back to health before someone purchases it. But once those are gone, I have a tiny bit more space in here, and I really want to dedicate an area to all of the, kind of have all the Cygnothias growing together. They're kind of a little bit spread apart right now. And then, of course, all the Cloesias or Closias, I'd like to have them near each other as well. This Dowiana rosita, it's mounted. It's putting out a new leaf here, looking pretty good. And seems to be okay. It's kind of bending over backwards here. And see a couple new roots there, and I would imagine that once that growth completes, we'll see even more roots pushing on that. And yeah, I went to Texas a few weeks ago to see the eclipse, and of course, what luck would have it, we saw nothing. We just saw clouds. But I did bring back some ball moss, so here's a little chunk of it. It grows everywhere there, and these were some that had kind of blown out of the trees that I brought back. And my own little pieces of ball moss that I got from Stephen's house a few years ago. This is one that just grew out of a seed pod that it had come with. So that one's grown really well. It should be blooming on its own this summer. And then here's one that's just bloomed recently, and you can see the seed pod is starting to dry up. I don't know if it's going to have little seedlings or not. But then I also found some little seedling ball moss as well, which I planted. I just kind of stuck here on this wood to see if they'd grab hold. I put a few of them on there. So that's fun. I like those little Tillandsias. Pretty tough little plants. Moving over to the carnivorous side of things, Nepenthes stenophylla has got a new leaf developing down here, a new pitcher developing. That's exciting. Look at this. I'm so excited about this. Wow. Raja by Edwardsiana. The newest picture is markedly larger than the last. And look at this new leaf, how much larger that is. And this guy marks the first picture that hangs over the side of this tiny pot. So that's kind of a landmarker reaching. And I'm expecting that to be a pretty decent size. We're really starting to get somewhere with this guy. That's exciting. I've had this plant for about 1 year. Next to it, we've got Nepenthes pervillae, or Pavillii, some people say. And it's put out its largest leaf so far for me. And really excited about that. Last year when Dustin and I were talking about Nepenthes, he said it takes anywhere from 6 months to a year for transplanted plants to really get going. And I thought, you got to be kidding, 6 months to a year? Well, he's absolutely right. This thing was planted in June last year, and it is just in the past couple of months started to get some momentum going. But I'm really happy with the color of the leaves, and the number of pictures that it's got. It's got one hanging over the side here it's developing, and it's got a nice new one over there as well. So I'm really excited. This is such a cool Nepenthes. Wow, it's one of the coolest, in my opinion. Little Nepenthes eustacia. I bought it because it has whitish pictures with pink and red stripes. Really unique colors, I think. And it's just finished a picture here and building another one here. And then we've got maybe some other ones over here. And then this is one of my Bongso hybrids. And it looks like it's going to start to picture again after several months of being mad at me for spraying oil on it for spider mites. Apparently, Nepenthes do not like alcohol sprayed on their leaves. I learned that lesson. This is a sibling of that same plant with red pictures, and it's doing a little bit better, but it's still not looking great. Needs some more time, I think, to get going. And then these, my little babies, Pride and Joy. This is Raja villosa, and there are 7 of them. And they're just cranking. There's that word again. This one is really, I don't know what this guy got, but this is the keeper right here. Look how vigorously growing that one is compared to the others. Really great. Of course, the little Pinguicula, catching lots of bugs. This one's still kind of dormant. And some bug catchers here. Really exciting. So, fun things going on in the tent. And everything's looking good. And watering system served me well. I was out unexpectedly. My mom got really, really sick last week to the point where I just kind of dropped everything and I had to fly out to spend some time with her in the hospital and then some days at home to try to help her get readjusted and get at-home care and that kind of stuff sorted out. And that was kind of a stressful week, so you can imagine just, I kind of dropped everything and left. But luckily the watering system, my Mist King watering system, took care of everything. I got back, everything looked just fine, so I was happy about that. It's nice to know that I've got that kind of as a backup. I've had the Mist King system run for 3 weeks on its own while I was out of town, and everything was pretty good. So I'm very thankful to have that system in place. All right, that's all I got for you this week. Have a nice week yourselves, and see you next time right here on My Green Pets. I'm William Green. Bye.